Hey guys, it's Maria. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi. I post videos every Monday and Thursday, so if you don't want to miss another upload, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. As the year draws to a close, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us to look back at the past year and evaluate the negatives, the positives. Hopefully we all grew mentally, spiritually, professionally as people, and to set aside some goals for the new year. And I will confess, I don't usually give myself resolutions in the traditional sense. I think that giving yourself ultimatums and being too specific with your goals for the new year can really set you back in terms of motivation. If you have an off day or even an off week or off couple of weeks, it can really kill your motivation and you can quit your goal altogether. And so even though it's not exactly recommended, I like to be on the vague side with my resolutions so that as the months go by, also if I change my goals and they evolve slightly, I kind of give myself room to do that without being tied down to the goals I set before the year even started. That being said, I'm going to quote Leonard Bernstein for a second, quote, "To achieve great things, two things are needed: a plan and not quite enough time," unquote. So to me that means you need to dream big, and that's part of my other strategy when it comes to resolutions, is that I like to dream big and really push myself to achieve these goals, but also be understanding that the goals that I set for myself might change, go in a different direction, maybe even be simplified since they are so big to begin with, at least for myself. So if you have a similar strategy when it comes to your resolutions or goals for the new year, let me know in the comments and let me know what some of your resolutions are for 2022. Alright, so with that, let's get into the video so I can share with you my 10 New Year's resolutions. My first resolution for the new year is to listen to and play more music that I love. And let me expand on that. I've mentioned this before, but growing up in a classical kind of little world, it was frowned upon, or at least misunderstood, to listen to music outside of the classical realm. I remember kind of being torn because I didn't quite fit into the classical world. Internally, I felt like I couldn't survive by just listening to classical my whole life. And at the same time, I didn't quite fit in to the middle school and high school kind of groups, especially when pop music was a big factor in whether you were a cool kid or not, if you knew all the cool songs. So I wasn't quite invested enough into that world to be with it, with all the cool pop songs. And with the classical, I kind of also didn't know where to start. And so I was kind of in the middle and always trying to fit in. And a little bit of that is still with me. I still have a little bit of that guilt when I turn on some music that's not classical, even though I know it's totally okay to listen. I mean, obviously it's okay to listen to different genres of music, but even when I came to music school and I saw different people listening to different genres of music, I never really found one person that shared every single taste in music with me. And I think that's totally fine because music is so individual and we can find common ground in the common artists we love, but at the end of the day, everybody has their own kind of life story, their own music that they grew up listening to, and those different combinations result in different tastes. And for me, a big part of just being comfortable with myself and letting my creativity kind of go wild is letting myself listen to the music I like without thinking of, what would this friend think of that, or what would this relative think of the music I'm listening to. And it might not seem like a big deal to some of you, but for me, it was playing a big part in censoring myself to fit in with different friend groups and kind of putting on different masks and different personalities to fit in. And I really want to work on breaking free from that in the new year. Number 2, practicing skills that I'm not that good at but really want to explore more. Some of these include singing. As you guys know, if you've been following my singing vlogs, singing has been my almost number one fear and insecurity, and getting over that has really lifted such a huge weight off my shoulders, and it's given me the confidence to start learning different things that I'm not exactly well versed in at all. I remember growing up and discovering Peter Benz's channel. I will link him down below if you guys don't know him, but I'm sure you guys do. He's amazing and he makes his own transcriptions of very popular songs. And I remember looking up to him and really wanting really bad to be like him, but I realized that I have no experience whatsoever in transcribing. It just seemed like so much work and I didn't even know where to start, and I'm still not good at it. I haven't been practicing or anything. It's so outside of my world, but I just think it would be so cool to be able to transcribe certain pieces. I've been trying to dabble in it a little bit when my students want to play a certain piece and the level is maybe a little bit too hard for the transcriptions that I find online, and so I take the liberty of simplifying it for them. But really getting to know those music notation softwares and exploring them more is definitely on my wish list for this next year. And in that same category, I really want to explore different instruments as well. I think I mentioned before, I really wanted to learn to play the drums. The violin would be super cool, guitar, just for myself, so I have that confidence that I can, you know, kind of dabble in different areas and be at least kind of okay in them, or okay at the things that I practice. Because growing up, my education was so specialized. Even in high school, I would take online courses just to have enough time to practice the piano at home. And while that gave me, I think that gave me more confidence with my own playing ability and propelled me into, you know, getting into music school and all those things. My confidence did take a hit in the other areas that I kind of had to shave off, including the dance that I used to do. And I want to kind of get some of that back and even expand it into other areas. So the second resolution, I guess you could say, is just giving myself permission to explore the things that I really have always wanted to learn to play without judgment and just kind of seeing where it's going to take me. Number 3 is taking time off, and I'm one of those people, I go crazy for a few weeks. I'm like super productive, just super motivated, and I just go crazy. Sometimes it's for a few weeks, sometimes it's just for a few days, and then I just crash. And I have a few days where I absolutely hate whatever I was doing. And usually those things that I go ham on are practicing. If I'm preparing for something important, I totally over practice and then I feel burnt out and I have to take a few days off. Filming and editing, which I do if something big is coming up, so I'm kind of in that season right now. And also teaching. I usually put a lot of extra time into my students with, you know, filming extra videos that are helpful to them, or like I mentioned, transcribing music for them if they're not finding the arrangement they're looking for. And so with that, I also kind of go into extremes where I spend way too much time with preparing for those lessons to the point that maybe the students didn't even ask for the things that I'm preparing for them. And then I have to take some time off to kind of regroup and do it all over again. Again, this third resolution is just kind of an area of focus. I don't have an answer for myself. I don't know how I'm gonna balance that, but just being aware of it, I feel like will point me in the right direction when the right solution comes along. Resolution number 4 is to post more videos, and you guys might have noticed that I've been posting twice a week leading up to winter break, and I plan on keeping that up. Of course, if I feel burnt out, I think I'm kind of giving myself permission to take that time off, because trust me, when I promise something to myself, I am not going to break that promise. And sometimes at my own expense, at the expense of sleeping or eating or something like that. It's really unhealthy. But an example of that is when I started this channel, even though it took me several months to a year to kind of get in the mindset of being able to make that promise to myself, I said that no matter what, I'm always going to upload every single Thursday, no matter if it's a tiny video or a longer video. I'm not going to break that promise no matter what. And I've been keeping that momentum going. And I think now is the time to kind of open the door to working a little bit more on it. I am getting a little bit more productive with the way I make my videos, so I feel like I can afford to post 2 videos a week. But again, if I feel overwhelmed, I am gonna scale it back to what we had before. I hope that doesn't happen though, because I'm really enjoying this faster paced content creation cycle. And at the end of the day, I also think it's way more rewarding to look back at how much work you've put in and you know that you've used your time to the fullest. So I really hope this plan is going to work out. Number 5 is to be more patient. And if you know me personally, you know that I am literally probably the most impatient person you've seen in the short term. Like in the day-to-day, I get antsy and like bored and very annoying when like doing things like going on a hike or reading a book or just watching a movie. Like I'm really impatient. I get bored, I get antsy, and that's translated into my YouTube journey as well. So I'm constantly balancing that and trying to force myself to be more patient. And a thing that's really helped me do that is to get rid of any expectations. So if you guys have been with me for the last little bit, you know that I started this YouTube channel a year and a half ago, and the key to how I was able to keep that motivation going, because it took a lot of work, especially up front, and I continue to post videos frequently, as does any content creator. But at those beginning stages, I'm still at the beginning stages, but at the really beginning stages, it's easy to lose motivation, especially when your video gets 0 views or 0 comments, nobody sees it. And so really keeping your expectations at bay, in fact, having no expectations at all while putting in all that work. So putting in all that work, but taking a step back and being patient, just letting your work kind of speak for itself, that can really be a make or break in your motivation and your willingness to continue even through the hard parts of your journey. And I'm sure this is the case for non-musicians as well, so if there are non-musicians in the audience, let yourselves be known in the comments and let me know what your take on this is. But what I found this year is that patience yields the best results. All right, with this 6th resolution, we're bringing it back to earth with a simple one. It's just to eat healthier. Drink less coffee, drink more water. And to be honest, I still feel like I'm at that phase where I can afford to kind of eat badly and still feel pretty okay. Like I usually don't feel it unless I like eat badly for a prolonged period of time. But with these phases of productivity that I go through, I also go through phases where I eat really healthy. And they don't exactly coincide, like they're the exact opposite of when I'm productive. So when I'm productive, I don't have time for anything. I'm so immersed in my work that I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to do anything other than what I'm doing, what's at hand. And so what happens is my healthy eating during those periods of time kind of goes down the drain. And after a while, when I start to relax my productivity, I really have more time to be taking care of myself. So it's kind of like a swing going from one extreme to another. My 7th resolution is to get as close to my 8 hours of sleep as possible, just to sleep more, meaning go to bed earlier, because I'm one of those people that just like, my brain goes into overdrive when it's nighttime. That's most of the time when I edit and when I script, when I plan my videos, when I have all of my dreams laid out, and then in the morning I kind of wake up and I reread those notes and I'm like, wow, that is intense. So I'll be honest, most of the time that I edit, I do it until 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning, which is no good at all. So I guess just working on balancing out my productivity time to maybe more in the morning, which I'm trying to do lately. But again, I'm not going to be too harsh on myself. It is a work in progress, but just one of those things that I'm going to keep in the back of my mind, and just a long-term goal that I'm going to work towards is going to bed earlier and kind of balancing out my work to do more in the morning and less in the middle of the night. Number 8 is to journal more, and I've been journaling for as long as I can remember. The first time I remember writing, I was 4 years old. We went to a mini summer vacation and I documented pretty much the whole thing. I was like writing down what we were doing because I wanted to keep it in my mind and keep it fresh. But journaling has really helped me over the years to organize my thoughts, brainstorm, also manage my emotions, because when I was feeling upset, especially as a teenager, instead of kind of raging and, you know, taking that out on other people, which would end up coming back to me, I could really just empty out my heart or my feelings onto paper and kind of go back and self-evaluate and see that, you know, maybe that was an overreaction, etc. So journaling has really helped me in both of those ways, so organizing my thoughts and managing my own emotions. And lately I haven't been journaling in a personal way. I've only been, I mean, there are a few projects that I have coming up that I'm working on right now, so mostly I'm just writing down my dreams, what I'm working towards, organizing, you know, my to-do list, my plans for the week, for the day, for the month. So continuing to journal and letting my emotions out to be a more stable person and just a better person to be around, so I can give more to the people around me, I think would be nice in 2022. Number 9 is to wake up before 8 to get more done. So this actually came to be totally randomly. I had to wake up for work or sometimes for an appointment, and so when I would wake up that early and I would have the appointment or have whatever I needed to do in the morning and I would be done, I realized that I had so many more hours in the day than, you know, when I sleep in until 10 or 11 or even 12. I'm not quite sure what I was doing going to bed so late and waking up so late as well. I think it was doing a number on my motivation and my willingness to work, because I felt like, oh, you've wasted half the day's already gone, and just kind of feeling down and knowing that like I missed 3 hours or even 4 hours for those people that wake up at 8. Like when I wake up at 8, I have those like several extra hours that I would love to have, you know, at the end of the day when I'm editing well into the night. I wish that I could have more energy for just a few more hours to finish whatever things I was working on at the time. And last but not least, number 10 is to celebrate small wins. So I definitely need to be better at this, and I feel like people in general need to be better about appreciating themselves for how far they've come. I know even the last 9 resolutions have basically been me focusing on the areas I can improve for the new year, which I think is important. But I think equally as important is taking a step back and seeing how far you've come. We need to appreciate, you know, the growth we've done over the past year. And whether that's learning a new skill at the piano or at your instrument that you didn't have before, learning a new piece, getting 100 subscribers, or starting a new project, testing out a new idea, we really have to throw ourselves a mini party every now and then. I mean, come on, we've put in so much work over the past year, every single one of us, and it's time that we see that and appreciate how far we have all come. So if you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you, and I want to also ask you to comment down below with your favorite accomplishment from this year. So that's it for the 10 resolutions I gave myself for 2022. I hope you guys found this video helpful or inspirational. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and if you want to watch some more of my videos, you can do that right here, and I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye!